We have an English prison today. A place that once housed the most famous gangster duo in the history of London. But for crimes you would never suspect. And this is a jail that was once taken over by the American military, who used it to execute 18 of their own soldiers.
Oof. Well, I think I know who the duo are.
This is Where Did Everyone Go? With me, Dr. Sasha Auerbach.
And me, Tom Ward. A journey into the weird history of abandoned places. Where in England is this prison?
It's in the lovely rural southwest county of Somerset.
Oh. Okay, and so from the footage, it looks like a nice, quaint, sleepy little town. Not really what I was expecting, considering what you've said so far.
Yeah, and then there's this prison. You know, it has these enormous tall walls. They're made of stone. They look old.
And then inside them, you've got a mix of long, narrow buildings, all connected and arranged around a large courtyard.
Yeah, the cell blocks are 3 stories tall. Each cell has this big sliding metal barred door, and there's netting beside the corridors, presumably to stop people and things from being thrown onto different floors.
Okay. So does this prison have a name, Sasha? And where did everyone go?
Where did everyone go? This is Shepton Mallet Prison. Shepton Mallet being the name of the town, which it is smack bang in the middle of.
That's a fun name for a town.
Shepton Mallet.
It's better than Penge or Bognor Regis.
Bognor. I always liked Bognor Regis.
It's fun, but Shepton Mallet, that sounds like you'd have a good time there.
Yeah. I always liked Thaden Bowls.
Where's that?
I don't know. I just saw it on a map one time.
Sounds like a Greek god who remarried.
Thaden Bowls. Anyway, this is a very old prison. In fact, it was an accidental discovery that confirmed its true age. In the 90s, when surveyors were here, they found a couple of loose bricks, and when they pulled them out, they found the original doorway to a cell from the 1600s.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
7-year-old me would love that. I mean, I love that. That's magic.
Yeah. That's just really cool. I was talking to a guy who was investigating old churches in Nottinghamshire, and when they were renovating one of them, and when they pulled this door down, they found like an old Norman doorway, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is the oldest Norman church in the whole county, one of the oldest in the whole country." They just accidentally found the remains of it. It's just crazy.
That's a good day.
Yeah, archaeology is neat. Anyway, so just this tiny little room is where they're kept, because human rights, weren't great back then. This is the old cell that they discovered. People were crammed in with very little regard for their welfare. I mean, heck, you had to pay for your own food in the old jails, and they weren't long-term facilities like they are today. It's just like a couple of rooms or like a very small building where you're going to be kept. And that's about all that remains of the original prison. The new one was basically built on top of it in the Victorian era.
Okay, did they get planning permission? It sounds kind of like they just did it.
Yeah, I mean, prisons, but they considered historic sites at the time? I don't think so. And at the end of the 19th century, the jail attracts the attention of the British military.
Okay.
Like all armies, they sometimes need to incarcerate their own.
For what sort of crimes? Because I always thought that the army would be quite a sort of civilized and controlled environment.
Well, the British Army in the old days was filled with people who were violent, comparatively illiterate, and unhealthy. And Shepton Mallet was for people who were so bad that they were actually getting kicked out of the army. Remember, if you were convicted of some crimes, you were given the option of joining the army or going to prison.
Right.
This is not the creme de la creme. It's actually only later on that you get the sort of romanticized version of like the Thin Red Line, the people that are protecting the empire and protecting Britain. For a lot of its history, people viewed, soldiers and sailors as the scum of the earth.
Right.
So the prison was used for people that even in this, dangerous kind of violent institution, which was kept in line with very heavy physical punishment, you also had deserters.
Okay.
In particular, the grueling British campaigns of the Boer Wars in South Africa led to a considerable increase in desertions. When they caught these guys, they had to put them somewhere. And then you have the First World War. has its share of deserters too, but there was another group of people that end up here, and that is conscientious objectors.
I'd be a conscientious objector.
Are you a pacifist?
When it comes to risking myself, absolutely. I'm very against violence if I'm at risk.
It's a hard road to hoe. This was not a society that looked well on those who, in their minds, dodged their honorable service.
Yeah.
But, as a historian of the First World War, I mean, the terror of the trenches, I don't really hold that much against people who decide to take a pass on that one.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Because when you find out someone's deserted, you go, oh, coward. But you sit there in your living room, in the 2020s, sipping a 0% lager,
You had women going around actually handing out, when they saw someone of military age, a young man of military age who wasn't wearing a uniform, they would hand him a white feather.
What did that represent?
Cowardice.
Wow. Savage.
Yeah.
There's the original roast.
Yeah. I mean, I personally am actually a pacifist by orientation. I don't believe in war as a tool of foreign policy. I think I would have to conscientiously object as well. Or feign a limp. Yeah, but then, there's exceptions to every rule. I mean, facing someone like Adolf Hitler, I'd have to question my belief and say, okay, which is the greater evil here, and does my conscience merit me taking a pass on this one?
I mean, there's I don't know. There's an Indian guru who said something about don't let your cowardice be masked by phony pacifism. There's a time to fight.
Yeah, and also Gandhi always claimed he was not a pacifist. He was an active, nonviolent, non-cooperator.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, back to the prison. It was during World War II when the prison really got busy, and that was when the American military took it over.
So what are the Americans doing in Shepton Mallet?
Well, remember that most American troops didn't go directly to the front lines. Their first stop was in Britain, where they received their final bit of training before shipping out to mainland Europe. And this is a fascinating period in both histories, the history of both Britain and America, because never before had so many Americans flooded into Britain. Approximately 2 million U.S. servicemen passed through Britain during this time, and my father, Norbert Auerbach, was one of them.
Wow. Your father was part of this 2 million?
Oh, yes. Yeah. He was a Combat Command B, 2nd Armored Division.
Wow. So what was his role? What did he do?
Well, he was one of many refugees from the Holocaust who had been educated in Central Europe and had fled the Nazis. And then his father basically realized once they got to America, they had to travel all around to France and then to Brazil and then eventually arrived in America. The rule was that if one of your family went into the U.S. military, the whole family got U.S. citizenship.
Oh, nice.
So his father was like, You're signing up,
Off
bud.
you go.
Off you go. And so he yanked him out of UCLA, where he was getting his degree. And because he had all these languages and he was educated, he ended up in military intelligence school. And then he ended up in an intelligence unit, with all these other refugee Jews, because they spoke French, English, German. He spoke Portuguese as well.
Wow.
So super, super useful.
How did he learn all these languages?
Well, he was taught in school in Prague.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these were very useful. He was very useful.
They were very useful.
Versatile.
So he was, so his last stint is, in Britain getting ready for the invasion, and he lands at Normandy 7 days after D-Day.
That's incredible. Did he talk about it much, or?
No, I mean, most people who experienced it, they don't really talk about it. And the stories that he told, they're just too dire to share, even on this podcast. Maybe we'll get to some of them at some point, but they're pretty dark. And I'm sure he considers himself one of the lucky ones. Anyway. Now, despite the similar cultures of Americans and British, same language, common law, well, at least basis of the same common laws, and religious freedom, the American War Department still felt there were some significant differences between the two nations and their people, so much so that a manual was created, which was called Instructions for American Servicemen in Britain.
Okay.
Now, do you want to guess what some of those instructions were, Tom?
Try to say jolly good a lot more than you normally would. If you see a colleague being blown up, don't say, oh crap, there goes Jim. Say, oh, how beastly.
Avoid Bovril. It's disgusting.
It goes right through you.
Goes right through you.
Not ideal in the trench.
Contrary to appearances, British people do brush their teeth.
Oh, yeah, nice. Thank you.
Sure.
Your teeth might go a little more yellow while you're over there. Don't worry, we'll fix it when you get back.
It will eventually stop raining, or maybe it won't.
Either way, good luck.
At least it gives people something to talk about.
Thanks for the citizenship, boys.
Thanks for the citizenship. So this is what it did have. These are a couple of bits from the manual. The British don't know how to make a good cup of coffee. You don't know how to make a good cup of tea. It's an even swap. Mm-hmm. Don't be misled by the British tendency to be soft-spoken and polite. The British are tough, strong people and good allies.
Nice.
The British are often more reserved in conduct than we. So if Britons sit in trains or buses without striking up conversation with you, it doesn't mean they're being haughty and unfriendly. I should have added, they just think that Americans are idiots.
Yeah, they have no time for you.
They have no time for you.
Loud, obnoxious fools.
You vulgar idiot.
You tone-deaf fools.
And the last one, and I love this. Don't make fun of British speech or accents. You sound just as funny to them, but they will be too polite to show it. You are never too polite to show it.
No. My mum is American. So,
yeah. I see. So that's that half of you coming out.
Yeah, she served in the Great War of needing to find a job because my dad didn't do very well as an accountant.
Oh.
Yeah, so she got a first aid job when I was a kid.
Your dad was an accountant?
Yeah, an unsuccessful accountant. Can you imagine?
No, I actually can't imagine this.
Pass you by every day. All those columns bulging with cash.
It's just, you're such a dynamic dude. I don't think his dad was an accountant.
I learned to be dynamic the hard way.
I thought I would have figured rally car driver.
Yeah, it's not quite as cool as your dad's story, I will say. Suburban accountant Tim Ward. His business dwindled from the early 90s of 15 staff to only one member of staff by 2003.
Or my dad's like dodging artillery shells.
Doesn't want to talk about it.
He's like, let's go over the top, boys.
Let's do it in Portuguese just because I can.
My dad did tell one funny story about how they had this idiot of a lieutenant. You know, the guy really didn't know what he was doing. He'd read the map upside down, and he got them lost one time, and they ended up in the middle of an artillery barrage. They don't know if it was a German barrage or an American barrage. So they all run out of the Jeep, and they hide in a barn, and then one of the artillery shells lands right next to the Jeep and pops one of the tires. So the lieutenant turns to him. He's like, "Sergeant, get out there and change that tire." And my dad just looks at him and he goes, "You do it."
Yeah, you would.
Yeah. To hell with you, man.
Yeah. Another trait of Englishness that should have been in the manual is the tendency to act like a kind of dithering, harmless Wally, to distract people while you leverage yourself into power, become the Prime Minister in 2019, and then oversee a disastrous tenure during a global flu.
Oh, that is a deep plan.
Yeah. But the dithering thing is an England thing.
Doesn't end up in the instruction book.
No, but the dithering thing should. It's a kind of faux humility, I'm not a threat. Don't worry about me.
I'm just a mussy head full.
Yeah.
Quid ipso facto racto.
Yeah. You need to look out for those guys.
Yes, absolutely.
They're the ones that will screw you.
Mm-hmm. So, when it was time for the Americans to arrive, both sides were excited, but a bit wary. And in the end, the results of this cultural merging were, let's say, mixed. The American GIs were frequently described by the British as overpaid, oversexed, and overhere, whereas the GIs countered and said the British were underpaid, undersexed, and under Eisenhower.
Nice. Touche. Undersexed, underpaid, how dare you? I'll show you. Right, we're going to a brothel. First ladies on us.
First ladies, I get that. Or first ladies on us. Like.
Oh, yeah. Great. They hire me for a reason. Occasionally I strike gold.
We're still trying to find out that reason, aren't we? But at least they actually hired you, unlike Lewis, who doesn't really work here.
Producer Lewis is a volunteer.
He's a volunteer. So,
build me a catacomb.
He's here on a
nice.
special work program.
Yeah.
So many British women enjoyed the visitors from overseas. Which is another British euphemism, around 70,000 British women became GI brides.
Oh, bloody Americans coming here, stealing our women.
Pockets full of money. And silk nylons and chocolate.
Cavalier attitudes. Coffee making skills.
Daring devil may care.
Obnoxious wit.
Obnoxious
about the
wit.
squares that they normally hang out with. Hey, don't boy with that fucking loser. Come and ride with G.I. Joe.
Ditch the zero and get with the hero.
I've
got stockings.
You want a Marlboro Light?
It just goes to show you, if you're desperate enough, like even a goofy American seems romantic.
I shouldn't. My husband's at war. Never mind that. Get in the sack. Very well.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, but among these Americans, there were unfortunately some bad eggs, which is where Shepton Mallet Prison comes in. The reports say there were over 700 inmates in the prison during this era. So many, they actually had to set up tent cells in the yards.
Tent cells, I like that. They're still called cells, even though they're basically tents.
Yeah, I wonder if they just draw like bars on the flap. Make a clanging noise when they zip. Clang! Don't you come out till morning!
Put a toilet made out of tent as well in there you got to use.
See, that would work on British people because they're by and large a polite, law-abiding group. If you're like, now you're in your cell, don't come out. Yes, governor, I know the rules. Don't mind me.
So hang on. So there's all these Americans there. Did they end up kind of running the place?
Yeah, this means that they had to follow American law too, which means some really harsh punishments. And here's an interesting fact. American soldiers are not protected by the U.S. Constitution.
Really?
They're under a separate legal system called the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Okay.
That's where you have to have special courts, right? Because the idea is that soldiers are subject to different rules and laws, and particularly they're subject to another level of authority, right? You don't want a soldier to be able to disobey a command because, oh, that's a crime. Like, I can't do it, or I'm going to get a lawyer. Very different, entirely different legal structure.
Calling your lawyer just before you just fire a bazooka.
Yeah, but think about the irony of that.
Can I do this? Is this all right?
Can I get OSHA in here? This seems like health and safety. I don't want to go after those landmines. No, but when it's crazy to think about it, which is these guys, men and women, are risking their lives to defend the Constitution, but they're not actually protected by the Constitution. Yeah.
In a way, that's a snapshot of the stupidity of war in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, what is it they say? There's much that is courageous in war, but little that is truly noble. Some of the reminders of the harsh punishments that these soldiers could be subjected to are still visible in the prison today, like the execution shed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't like the sound of this.
No. Inside is a hanging apparatus with trapdoors, winches. It's pretty chilling to see.
Oh, man. So they were hanging people here in the 40s?
Yep. I mean, desertion during wartime is a capital offense. And apparently, if you were convicted under the Uniform Code of Military Justice of one of these capital offenses, and you wouldn't have proper, the judges and your defending lawyer, they're all going to be military people. That's why you have things like the Advocate General, the Judge Advocate General, and the board would be composed of military officers. So it's all military.
Right.
Military, no civilians involved.
So it would have a very military perspective.
Well, yeah. They're judging a military man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're convicted of one of these capital offenses, the officer would read out the convicted person's military history, their offense, the findings of the courts-martial, and his sentence. He would ask him if he had any last words, any statement. And then he would finally be hooded, noosed, and a short drop followed by a sharp stop, as they say.
That's a horrible way to die.
Yeah, if you have to be executed, being executed in a shed sounds even worse.
Yeah.
There's something very industrial about it.
Yeah, it's knowing what's about to happen and knowing that you'll have to live through it for, minutes probably.
Yeah.
And the feeling of love, like the feeling of no one in the room being there to protect you or save you or, get you back.
Yeah. Not a big fan of capital punishment myself, I gotta say. You can take a lot from a person, but, taking their life. Now, it gets even dodgier when you look into some of the details about this. 16 Americans found guilty of rape or murder were hanged here. A further 2 faced a firing squad in one of the courtyards. You can still see the bullet holes. Here's the most troubling aspect to these executions. Of the 18 who were executed, 13 were from ethnic minorities. 10 African American men and 3 Mexican Americans. which is way out of proportion to the numbers in the U.S. Army at the time. So there was clearly racial prejudice going on here.
That's really depressing.
Well, what's depressing is it still exists in the U.S. criminal justice system too. Black men are 4 times more likely to be sentenced to capital punishment of the same crime as their white counterparts. And once you end up on death row, you're far more likely to actually be executed if you're black than if you're white. Even though the numbers on death row, actually there's more white people on death row than there are black people. So yeah, clearly, justice, I mean, if justice is blind, it's peeking out from under that blindfold every now and again, and it still sees color. So
the war ends.
Yeah.
And what, the Americans go back across the pond, and then what, we get our prison back?
Yep, and this is where we get to our famous gangster duo.
Okay.
The Cray twins. What do you know about the Crays?
They were very naughty boys, as they say.
They were naughty boys.
Did a lot of bad stuff, hurt a lot of people.
Yep.
Made a lot of money.
Yep. During the 1950s and 60s, the Cray twins were East London's most notorious criminals. They firebombed clubs, provided racetrack protection, they carried out numerous armed robberies and murders, and all the while rubbing shoulders with the rich and famous like Frank Sinatra and Judy Garland. Their story would become the stuff of legend, as depicted in numerous books and films.
Yeah. Oh, and why were they sent to Shepton Mallet?
Well, even though World War II ended in 1945, Britain still had a military draft in place well into the early 50s. And the requirement was for all healthy men to serve. Initially it was for 18 months, and then by 1950 this was extended to 2 years. Well, Reggie and Ronnie Cray were drafted. And suddenly these East London gangsters are expected to become soldiers.
Yeah, I'm guessing they didn't particularly like that.
No, you wouldn't think they would. Well, here's Maurice, a former prison guard and current tour guide, to tell us how they responded.
They went along to the Tower of London, which was their recruit point. They listened to what the recruiting corporal had to say, didn't like what they were hearing. One of them punched him in the jaw. It damaged him quite severely. And then they went on the run.
I mean, it's probably what a lot of people wanted to do, but that they actually did it.
Yeah. So they eventually receive a court-martial, which results in them being dishonorably discharged from the army, and they're sent to Shepton Mallet for 9 months.
So they actually did go there. So they went. No, they were drafted in spite of punching and running.
Well, no, they're court-martialed for their actions.
Oh right, they weren't then found and then put in a uniform. And
I don't have that part of the story, but that doesn't seem like it actually happened.
Okay,
they're like, these dudes are never going to serve, so we're going to
not
throw them into military prison.
Okay.
Now this was a military prison still at this time, but things were a bit different. And here's Maurice again to explain.
Everything is done at the double in military prisons. And it would have been quite a harsh regime. They would have had minimal possessions apart from their uniforms. Their day started around 7 o'clock in the morning and wouldn't finish until 9 o'clock at night. But they would be doing various functions here. They'd be doing drill every day, PT every day. They would be mattress stuffing, oakum picking, maybe even stone breaking as well.
What's oakum picking?
It's when you basically you unpick up these rope fibers so you can make new rope out of them.
Oh,
I believe something that sailors do.
And stone breaking?
It's literally hitting stones with the hammers to make smaller stones.
Okay. Was there a reason?
Well,
pebble dash housing? Or?
Yeah, because they use the stones as building material, but you can't use a giant rock. Like, you got to break it into little bits first.
Okay. I'm going to say they probably didn't love doing these jobs.
I don't
probably
think
even tried to
anyone
use
loves
broken
doing those
stones
jobs.
to break jaws.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they reacted very well. Obedience, wasn't their strong suit. They'd fight with each other. They'd fight with the staff. They'd fight with other prisoners. There'd be arguments over food, who was working out where in the exercise yard. It wouldn't take much to set them off.
I feel strangely proud.
You feel strangely proud? These guys were murderers and firebombers.
They're resisting the thing.
But they're London boys, and that's enough.
That's my boys,
What is it, that thing about British are too polite?
Stuff a mattress, stuff it up your hole.
About, yeah.
I'll break your fucking rocks.
So behind all that, I'm sorry, is just like a giant chunk of stone waiting to be hurled through a window.
Yeah, I'm sorry is a kind of PR job on what lurks in the ugly
What lurks?
souls
Yeah.
of the English.
Whereas Americans are just painfully genuine about everything.
Yeah, their aggression at least is...
Did he really mean he's happy to see me? Did he just invite me over to his house for dinner?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he did. That's what happens here.
Yeah, he asked me, how are you? And then didn't seem to respond when I started telling him.
Yeah, this
That
one is
was strange.
I play basketball with a bunch of Yugoslavian guys, and I asked him how your day was, and he goes, well, one of my colleagues asked me how I am, and I said, oh, not so good. His hip is bothering me and my knees, and I think I've got something in my liver, and he looked really horrified.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Don't answer the question, you bloody fool.
The answer is always fine. Can't complain. So, you lost your leg, I hear. Oh, can't complain. So the beds in these cells were rope beds. And you know the phrase, good night, sleep tight, or just sleep tight? Uh-huh. Well, that actually comes from the need to tighten the ropes for a good night's sleep. So,
Or next you'll tell me the bloody expression bite the bullet comes from doctors in the 1890s making people bite bullets because they didn't have enough anesthetic or something.
is that why?
That is why, actually, yeah.
Oh, are you making that up?
No,
or is
that's
that...
real.
Oh, okay.
Because every saying we use is basically from something that we don't really know
you gotta
what it's
bite.
from. But I learned that.
But why a bullet? Why not a piece of wood?
I don't know.
Or an apple?
Yeah, something with give. Yeah.
Yeah, like you want to bite this painful piece of metal that might poison you because it's made out of lead.
Yeah, well, you break your teeth, and that helps distract you from the heart procedure that you're having done.
I think it's a scam cooked up by the orthodontist people.
Or the bullet industry.
Just have them bite bullets. It's good for them. And also cocaine. Cocaine.
And cigarettes invigorate
Seriously,
the lungs.
They clear out the lungs. The hot smoke.
And fossil fuels don't cause any damage.
They don't. And go out in the sun without any sun cream. It's good for you.
It's the Lord's work.
Vitamin D. It's the Lord's work. So, the Krays weren't the only troublemakers here. There was a riot in 1955 when the prisoners' rolled oats were changed to crushed oats for their porridge.
Oh, they didn't like that.
No, that's a reason to burn the place down. God, I mean, oats is oats, man. There was another one in 1959 when, I love this, in 1959 when the library manager tried to limit the number of books that prisoners could have in their cells.
Oh, wow. What, in case they...
I will have my Agatha Christie.
They wanted, just in case they freed their minds.
Yeah. Too many books for these convicts.
Yeah.
Let them break stones.
And let them be mentally incarcerated as well as physically.
Yeah.
Don't give them escapism.
And also, we're replacing your oats with millet.
No!
Burn it down. We do have to admit that the British don't really take much to have a riot. I mean, their sports team loses by 1 goal and they just tear the place apart.
Well, that's England in the final. Not generally. It's not every game we lose.
Yeah, it's like a whole nation full of Philadelphia fans who will destroy the city whether they win or lose.
Yeah.
It's like, the game's over.
Is that the reputation?
Yeah, time to
Phillies?
flip over cars and climb. Yeah, they actually grease, whenever a Philadelphia team is going to play in a championship game, they grease the telephone poles. Because some goofball is going to try to climb up them.
And turn the cars upside down already so that they can't do it.
Oh, wow, that's a good plan.
So they turn them actually back up.
See, you missed your calling. You should be a mayor of a major American city. You have that kind of strategic vision.
Well, I just get inside the everyman's head.
The everyman's
What do they want to do? They want to climb up poles and
you
turn
know
over
how I
cars.
get in there? Straight through his ear. Apparently, the only way the riot was calmed down was by bringing in the fire hoses to spray the prisoners back into the cells. And the Krays weren't the only operators from gangland London to end up in rural Somerset. You want to guess who else was here, Tom?
From the criminal underworld?
I know you have all these criminal underworld connections.
I'm not really a connoisseur of that realm. I'm just a soft-handed white boy from southwest London.
You would say that if you were a gangster, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'm just a soft-handed white boy from the east of London.
He's got a gangster's heart. He's a cold-eyed killer, but not as much of a cold-eyed killer as Lewis.
He's just cold-eyed.
He kills people weekly just for the fun of it. All right, so incarcerated here at the same time were Charlie Richardson and George Cornell. Now, Charlie Richardson was among the shrewdest of the London post-war gangster scene, and his gang, the Richardson Gang, specialized in long-term extortion and fraud.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what happened when they first all met inside this prison.
Charlie Richardson did say that when he met them, he thought they were diamond geezers. And so they appeared to get on when they initially met. But what happened after that, that's another story completely.
So, Tom, you want to tell the American audience what diamond geezers means?
Diamond geezer, it's a fridge freezer. It's a lemon squeezer. Solid, dependable, got your back. Won't squeal to the pigs. Lend you a ton if you're on your roll. Lovely. Mind, there you go. Love to the wife.
I'm going to translate for the American audience. They were dependable stand-up guys.
Yeah, they'd help you out if you needed it.
For criminals.
What you see is what you get.
Yes.
There's no bluff. There's no games. Yeah.
Yeah, the exact opposite of
you can trust them.
Yeah. And so Lewis is the right out.
No,
not
he's
a
not
diamond geezer.
He's a man-made stone.
Is there an opposite? Is a man made of stone?
You know those
does. He has eyes like two pieces of flint. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, cheap diamonds. Fake diamond, man-made diamonds. The ones you get. Like
a fugazi.
You get it sort of for your 9-year-old nephew.
Cubic
niece.
zirconia. Yeah.
A what?
Cubic zirconia. That's what they use.
Oh yeah. That's him.
So. The story that Maurice is alluding to is the following. After serving 9 months here, the Krays got out. They continued their criminal gangster lives in London until their uneasy alliance with Cornell and the Richardson gang came to a head. The disagreement led to Ronnie Kray's famous shooting of George Cornell in London's Blind Beggar pub.
That is some proper gangster stuff.
That is proper. Have you been to the Blind Beggar pub?
No.
Oh, because it's like a tourist site now.
Oh, it's in Whitechapel.
Yeah,
I have been there.
Yeah.
I did a gig there.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you also get shot at?
No.
Well, it's on the up and up.
Just moderate laughs.
Whitechapel is a very interesting neighborhood, I think. There's a lot of history there.
Though.
Yeah, it is.
It used to be proper East End. Now it's kind of
it's gentrifying, but not as much as like Shoreditch. I mean,
no.
American viewers won't know what the heck we're talking about, but the discussion of East London's authenticity / gentrification is a topic of constant discussion amongst all Londoners.
Is that a thing over there?
Gentrification?
Is it a thing that people care about, that bugs people?
Yes and no. I mean,
have you got like old steel factories that have been turned into?
Oh, absolutely,
like really hipster.
Yeah, and there's people that are like moved to the poor part of town. That's like, oh, I remember when I could get a job there, and now it's full of hipsters.
And is there a kind of spit on the floor attitude there, or?
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, you had a lot of white flight in American cities, so you had a lot of the white residents moving to the suburbs, and then in the past 20 years, you've had the opposite as kind of traffic got worse and as these historic properties were redeveloped.
Right.
So it's kind of a mixed bag. Like these sometimes do breathe life into neighborhoods that were crumbling, but other times, as the property values go up, these older residents get pushed out. So there's a lot of tension over it.
It's
I think
kind of like the cycle of life in some way, but it's just a version of it. But I hate hipster environments, but I also go to them. So I have the best of both worlds. I go in and go, look at these wankers, and then I just go in for a £4.75 coffee.
£4.75
served to me by someone
like
that
$7
snarls at me and has a tattooed neck. And I go, look at this horrible place. This is ruining London. And I walk
and
out
yet you
with my
drink
coffee.
your double non-fat latte with pleasure.
With my vegan muffin.
Your vegan muffin, yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's a shame.
So it's like you're hipsterish, but you're self-loathing about it.
No, I'm hipster
adjacent.
Adjacent,
yeah. You know what they call someone who's hipster adjacent? A bloody hipster.
A double wanker.
All right. Anyway, the shooting of George Cornell was the crime that got Ronnie Kray convicted of murder, and he was sentenced for life. And Reggie Kray was also sent down for life at the same time for the murder of a minor member of his own gang. Once called to account, both Kray twins would spend more than 3 decades in prison.
They'd had a good run.
They had a good run. And near the end of Reggie's life, our man Maurice ended up crossing paths with him.
I was his life and personal officer for just under 3 years, from 1992 to 1994. And I got to know Reg very well indeed. He could be a difficult individual at times. It could also be an absolute dream. A lot of the younger boys, they thought he was great. A lot of the older prisoners didn't really want to know him.
Inspiration to the youth.
The youth criminals.
Yeah. So what happened to the prison? Is it still there?
Well, in the end, this old and storied prison was just too broken and tired to serve its purpose anymore, and it was shut for good in 2013. But it did get a good send-off. It had a closure ceremony attended by officers and staff, past and present, representatives of the U.S. Armed Forces, a flyby for our American viewers, of a Royal Navy helicopter, and an hour-and-a-half ring from the local church bells. You know why? Because it had historical appeal. Get it? Appeal, the bells. acting.
Is that a thing? Is that what they call it?
Bells are pealing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wow, that joke really didn't go over then.
All right, do you want to do it? Should we do it again?
No.
We could try. Just, no.
No,
I'm good at acting.
The
I'm pretending to have a good time.
The moment has passed.
Okay.
Don't be a ding dong.
No, I'm learning.
You're learning.
I mean, this is for the public, but also for just to sort of pull me out of ignorance in a lot of ways.
So, any last thoughts on Shepton Mallet, craze, Americans here in this wonderful country ruining it?
It's a very busy story, isn't it? There's so many layers to that.
Yeah, it's a deep one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to me the way that the Ronnie and Reggie have been kind of I turned into iconoclasts. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, well,
Icons?
like heroes. Yeah, like romanticized, like Robin Hood.
Yeah, or they're kind of, you'd put them. I've seen people with posters of them, and I saw a guy with a tattoo of the craze on the back of his calf.
Yeah,
I mean, that's interesting to me because they did some pretty unpleasant.
But this is a common thing, Billy the Kid, and
it happens,
the whole idea
doesn't
that
but history softens the reality of what actually took place in time. Everyone just becomes a kind of quaint.
Yeah, but the truth of it is, I've met a few criminals, not a lot of white collar ones actually, to be honest. And it's rarely a first career choice. You go into it because the other options just aren't open to you. Yeah. And it's a friggin' hard life, and one that runs incredible risk of injury, death, or imprisonment. It's not something that people go to. So this whole idea of like career criminals and people that are like excited to be criminals and they really love that life. I mean, that's kind of something that Hollywood and television have invented. And a lot of people that go into it in the end, they can be very, very violent, very desperate people, I think, as the craze demonstrate.
And you're always looking over your shoulder, aren't you? For the other gangsters, to people in your own crew and the feds, obviously. You never feel relaxed.
As the saying goes, no honor among thieves.
Yeah.
But that's why, for example, the Cosa Nostra and these other organized groups have these very, very strict codes. The Yakuza too. Like that's the way they keep order, right? So, the omerta amongst the Cosa Nostra, like that refusal to speak to the police, the refusal to break the oath, like that's the highest level. And anyone who breaks it, like they're done. They're done.
Yeah. They're done, yeah. I mean, Ronnie and Reggie even had issues amongst themselves. Ronnie, is alleged to have killed Reggie's wife. Yeah, I mean, they say it was because he was jealous because they were so close. And, that's insane. And Ronnie was also gay. But at first he kind of denied it, and then he was just completely out about it in a time where that was not done. Yeah. So in a way, he's just weird LGBTQ front runner. But I don't think the community really want him. And Reggie was bi, but didn't really admit it.
Interesting.
But they had this whole other thing going on, which would have been, more, psychological tension. You would at least imagine.
Yeah. No, it's not. It doesn't sound like a pleasant life, and I doubt they saw themselves as heroes.
Yeah.
But there it is. Makes for a good story.
Yeah, it does.
I guess we'll end there.
Producer Lewis here. Thanks for listening to this episode of Where Did Everyone Go? New episodes every Wednesday and Sunday. Follow, comment, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out.